Hey, Johnny Grube from allmantraining.com. Yeah, I want to talk real quick about personal responsibility. Something that most people don't take anymore. Nobody has any personal responsibility. You don't believe me? Look at the way they fucking live. Look at the way their bodies are. Okay, you can't talk to me about personal responsibility and your whole fucking life is a fucking shambles. You go to work late. You don't do what you say you're going to do. You're fucking 150 pounds overweight. That's not taking personal responsibility. And if you do take personal responsibility, what do you take personal responsibility for? Because it isn't what your outer life fucking shows. And if your outer life looks like that, your inner fucking life is fucked up. Your inner mind is fucked up. It's funny. People always say, "Oh, I seem so angry and stuff like that." I'm not angry. I am not an angry person. I have a pretty good fucking life, and I choose to do the things I do. And it's real tough to think that a person who takes care of himself, reads good books, takes care of his body, and has all his entire life, who doesn't drink, who doesn't do drugs, who doesn't take pharmaceuticals, who doesn't take experimental vaccinations, who doesn't take a flu shot. Hard to believe that somebody like that would be angry. But then you take the fat person who's 150 pounds overweight, somehow they're happy. Yeah, there's more of a chance that somebody like me who takes care of himself, clean body, clean mind, vice versa, compared to fat body, sloppy mind, whatever. Sick mind, sloppy body. I had a lady over here, a neighbor. I seen her today. Didn't even recognize her. A neighbor told me who she was. She probably is 150 pounds, 150 more pounds than she was. She's fucking huge. It's like a fucking land whale. And her and her husband walked by with this fucking little fucking dog, and can't believe the dog hasn't been dinner yet. But she was talking to the neighbor about, him and his family getting vaccinated because they weren't vaccinated. And, she got a lot of room to talk, because I would have said to her, if she said something to me about that, I'd have said, listen, you're about 150 fucking pounds overweight, okay? You are the problem with society. You are more likely to cause problems in society just from your obese lifestyle than anybody who's not vaccinated. You're the problem. So instead of being in medical care or health care, whatever you are, maybe you should try to find another job or drop 150 pounds. These people are completely insane. They think, why would I listen to you? It's kind of like the Jordan Peterson comments I made. Not attacking the man. He's going to have issues. His issues are his issues. And it wasn't the thing to attack Jordan Peterson. But see, here's the thing. He's a weak man's strong man. Yeah, weak man, strong man. Yep. And I can't figure out why people get so offended when I comment on a man like him who's got a psychologist or a psychiatrist who can't handle his own shit. Why would I mean, he says some good shit, but I can't listen to him because he's a weak man. And I wouldn't go to a fat personal trainer. I wouldn't use a fat doctor. I wouldn't use a doctor that smoked. Wouldn't ask a bum where I should invest money. Just seems right to me. So, and then people talk about depression. Do you know depression? It may have been around for a long, long fucking time. But it doesn't seem like it's been around that long, considering that everybody claims to be depressed. Why are people depressed? It's because society has given people a waiver to just complain and cry and use "I'm depressed" so they can get sympathy. I don't care what anybody fucking says. I know that I never heard of anybody being depressed, and if they were, they didn't tell anybody. And what the funny thing is like, okay, you're depressed. Everybody gets depressed. Everybody gets sad. I mean, maybe you do have an issue, a chemical imbalance. Maybe it's your fucking diet, okay? Maybe you have no fucking purpose. Maybe you're just a fucking sissy. I don't know. Maybe you just are looking for a way out. But I never ever heard of so many people committing suicide until lately. What's happened now? Life's gotten easier. Technology, everything's gotten easier. We got more medical advancements. People know more about fitness and food, yet people are fucking more depressed and killing themselves more than ever. And is it real? Yeah, I guess. But it ain't as real as everybody fucking putting it out there to be. There's a lot of fucking people that are just using it as an excuse to fucking get sympathy and to make an excuse to be a fucking failure and to not do things. I don't care. I stand by it. But I was also checking it out. I was doing some research on it, and they said that depression is more prevalent in, the uneducated, let's say. But the funny thing is you never hear about the inner city minorities being depressed. You never hear about that. You never hear about these kids. They might have PTSD from getting shot at, but you never hear about the poor people being depressed. You hear about middle class people being depressed. You hear about rich people being depressed. But here's the thing. The science, it didn't make sense in any of the studies, because the articles were talking about how more people now in colleges, 1 in 6 people have a mental disorder. 1 in 6 people. And they talk about how there's so much pressure in college. Well, what the fuck do you think is going to happen when you get out in the real fucking world? In college, you're fucking protected basically right fucking now from all these fucking left-leaning fucking liberal nut jobs. You're fucking protected. You are fucking protected. You're behind the ivory fucking walls. You think it's going to get fucking easier outside of fucking when you get out of college? You're sick now? You're mentally fucking ill now? Wait till you get out of fucking college. I don't want to hear all the crybaby bullshit. The problem is nobody's taking personal responsibility. You're depressed. I don't give a fuck. Deal with it. Take your fucking drugs. Follow Jordan Peterson. I don't care. Okay, it's not my responsibility. And I really don't care. Okay, because it's your responsibility. Everybody is sad at one time or another. Everybody has shit times. Everybody has hard times. But the strong get the fuck out of it without drugs and using booze and making excuses to why they don't want to get out of it. It's fucking tough. I'm 54 years old. I have 4 kids, 3 different fucking women. I've been fucking raising kids since I've been 17 fucking years old. You don't think I had fucking tough times? Come on. I can tell you right now, I had fucking way tougher times than any fucking kid that went to college. So when people start talking about personal responsibility, just look at the way they live their lives. Look at the way they talk. Look at the way they are. And then it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit later.